Hello, everyone, and welcome to an introduction to lexicography. Here we go. First, we should differentiate between twin sciences, lexicography and lexicology. They share the same etymology. They share the same etymology. The word lexico in Greek it means word, but lexicology. The second part is logy, which means science. So it's the science of words. Lexicography, on the other hand, the second part is graphe or graph, which means writing. So lexicography is the writing of words or the practice or art of writing dictionaries. The two sciences are interrelated, and we can say that lexicography is applied lexicology, and we can say that lexicology is the theoretical body which feeds lexicography. What does lexicology study? It studies words in terms of their semantic relationships, their phonological, morphological, contextual behavior. Also, lexicology study the constant change that words undergo, as well as their origins, their development, and their current uses. The scope of lexicology also can include the study of phraseological units, set combinations, collocations, etc. And the lexicology can be historical, study the history of words and how they change over time. Descriptive is studying how words behave and the meaning of words within a particular period of time, the present time most probably. Comparative and contrasting, studying the lexical relations between languages or words belonging to the same language or different languages. We find that lexicology is related or interact with a number of sciences, and it fulfills the needs of different branches of applied linguistics. For example, lexicography, stylistics, language teaching. It's related to grammar and phonetics, and it's also recording the sociological changes of the words and the meaning of words, because language is a social phenomena. It is tracking, lexicology is tracking that the progress and in the social, political, and technological system that's manifested in the vocabulary of a language. Also, you can find that lexicologists trace the birth of words, the how words evolve in senses, they acquire new senses, new meanings, and also when a particular word becomes archaic or it drops out or fell into disuse. What do lexicographers? And we're going to focus on lexicography. What do lexicographers exactly do? Here are some of the main tasks lexicographers do. First, profiling the intended users and identifying their needs. That in order to make a dictionary, you must know why you are making it and what is the intended user or the intended audience, and whether this dictionary is satisfying their needs or not. Number two, selecting and organizing the components dictionaries is something very important. Editorial skills that must be there in lexicography. Choosing a proper structure for presenting the data in the dictionaries is a key task of lexicographers, how to present data. Selecting words and affixes for systematization as entries, how to organize entries and select words and add words, remove words, and all these things. They are part of this job. Selecting collocations, words which come together, phrases and examples. Choosing lemma forms or words which share the same meaning or the same stem and roughly the same meaning. Organizing, defining words, how to define words and give many definition of if a word has more than one definition or one sense. Organizing definition, which comes first and which comes last. Specifying pronunciation of words, if words have more than one pronunciation, this must be illustrated, and if this is related to dialectal differences or differences with regard to register or style, all these things must be elucidated in any dictionary. Translating collocations, phrase, and example in bi and multi or multilingual dictionaries. Okay, these are very essential tasks that or that represent the core responsibility of lexicographers. And then let's ask, how do words find their way to dictionaries? Here we find that lexicographers are not free in adding or removing words, actually. And according to Merriam-Webster, let's see how words find their way to dictionary. A word gets into a dictionary when it is used by many people who all agree that it means the same thing. This is something, taken for granted, because naming and giving names to words is something that's not logical, it's something conventional. If your toddler nephew invented a great word that the English language simply cannot do without, don't write to us. Don't write to us to recommend that it be added to the dictionary. Use it first. You drop the word into your conversation and writing, then others will pick it up. The more its use spreads, the more likely it will be noticed by dictionary editors. So it must be used first, must be spread first, and then later on lexicographers and dictionary editors take it and add it. And the word finds finally its way to dictionaries, but lexicographers do not have the upper hand in deciding which words to be removed and which words to be added. People decide this. Excuse me. If your nephew's word is one that English speakers decide we need, it has a good chance of getting into the dictionary. Okay, so this is the natural course of how words find their way to the dictionary. It is a use, how word is used and how word is circulated among people. Second, let me tell you, trace the history of lexicography and the major dictionaries. Here we find that the first lexicographers are the Sumerians, followed by the Egyptians, the Chinese, Greek, the Indians, and the Romans, and then everywhere. Different types of dictionaries. We have bilingual dictionary, monolingual, learner dictionary, electronic, visual, satirical, phonetic, and so many kinds of dictionaries. Each one is targeting its own audience and trying to fulfill their needs. Okay. And each one and each type has its own characteristics, its own limitations, pros and cons, and so on. The power of the dictionary, print or online dictionary, which you trust more, depends. For all generations who are accustomed to paper dictionary, I think that they feel more convenient with the print ones, but that the digital age is taking the world by a storm, and now we are shifting to online dictionaries, and now people are using them more in all age groups. Actually, you find that the online dictionaries are having the upper hand. Because they are free, fast, accessible, easily used, convenient, and they save time, and they are more updated. They are not linear. They are multimodal. They are more comprehensive, depending on big data and the Corpus, updated daily, almost daily. The audience can contribute to them, add suggestions and so on. So it's a huge work that is done, in an a breathtaking way. Let's see how lexicography resonate to social changes and linguistic changes. So here we find that new words are added, such as the word adorkable, and even if you have an old word like quarantine, and it acquires a new sense due to the COVID-19 pandemic. The word is now being used as synonymous with lockdown, but in the past it was defined as in relation to a person or animal suspected of being contagious. We have also another term, which is elbow bump. It's a new one. It's a new way of shaking, of greeting instead of handshakes and hugs, and all these things. People turn to other forms of greeting. Then we move on to another thing that we find in our daily life and we encounter at the end of the year, which is something called the word of the year selection process made by dictionary firms. Everyone is involved in this. Editors of all dictionary firms, as well as audience, they shortlist a number of candidates, and they check which word has gained momentum during the year and is used in a widespread way during the year, and it's selected as the word of the year, and we wait for that every year. Also, Google, which is I know, and search and number one in the world is doing something like that, and so many dictionaries do something like that. So there is something called also word of the century, word of the decade, and so on. Here, let's look at how lexicography is resonating to social changes and changes in the social attitude towards words. So there have been a number of calls to change the definition of the word bullying, and this has been done to make major dictionaries stop defining a bullied person as a person who is weak and vulnerable, and they want to remove the word weak and the word vulnerable from this definition. And they say, or the people who call for that, they say, campaigners, they say that by removing weak as a word weak from the definition, we can instill confidence in those who have or are still experiencing bullying and help future generations better understand bullying behavior. So little changes like this could contribute to altering a general stereotype. Also, there is another example that occurs to me now when a number of Italian campaigners called for the change in the definition of the word woman in an Italian dictionary, and the dictionary firm responded positively, and the word woman has changed with the removal of abusive words and negative words or sexist definitions or sexist tones or overtones. And also in Britain, there has been a campaign in order to change the definition of Oxford English Dictionary of the word woman, using by removing some words such as bent to refer to women, and they succeeded. The campaigners succeeded, and now, and this means that lexicographers are responding to how the trajectory of words and the senses and the connotations of words in a particular society, whether a word is getting negative or positive meaning. This must be recorded and must be done on a regular basis. As a role of lexicographers in the digital age, here the digital age has contributed a great deal to making the lexicographers' work easier. And we have something called Corpus linguistics. I'm going to give you a lecture on this, inshallah, next time. But let me show you what's meant by corpus. And here we find that a corpus, as you see here, is a collection of texts. We call it a corpus, and the plural is corpora when we use it for language research. Okay, we find that lexicographers use corpora in order to avoid missing things and to have a big corpus. And a computer lexicographers use corpora in order to better explain and give all the meanings of a particular word, how it's and all its occurrences. We find that Cobra gave the meaning of the word. It also can give the frequency of the word, the collocations, the phraseology, the context of the in which a word is used. It tells us a great deal about its grammar, about its behavior within the sentence. Or the sentences it occurs, if a word is acquiring new terms, if a word is is decaying or is on the rise. All these things are traced by Cobra. We have something called sketch engine, which is a tool in order to make a Cobra, and there are other programs that make you compile different Cobra for different purposes. Let me also show you different kinds of Cobra. Here we find, let's click here. Yeah, it's not. Yes, we have many kinds of Cobra. Yeah, unfortunately, it's not working. We have many kinds of Cobra. For example, the Coca Cobra, the Koha Cobra, the brown Corpus, and so on. So now we are living in the age of big data, the age of Corpus, or Cobra in general, and we have many tools such as Sketch Engine and Anti-Long and Anti-Conc. These are the two major programs that are there that can help us compile Cobra and investigate how words behave in big data and in big in a big collection of texts. Corpus linguistics or these sketch these tools tell us something about the KWIC, which is a keyword in context, telling us something about the frequencies, the distributions, the collocation statistics, and so on. I'm going to tell you more about this, inshallah, next time when we talk about corpus linguistics and how to compile your own corpus in order to study a particular linguistic, a particular linguistic issue. Okay, let's move on. So what we want to say here is that the digital age and the age of big data and the corporate has made it easy for lexicographers to update their work, to track words very easily, track linguistic change, track semantic change, lexical change, and all these things. Then we differentiate between dictionary and thesaurus. We talk about dictionary. It's a collection of, it's a book that includes a number of entries, telling us a lot about the meaning of words, definitions, the description of usage, etymology, spelling, pronunciation, and so on. And it is organized alphabetically. On the other hand, we have something called thesaurus or thesaurus, and this is a dictionary of synonyms, a dictionary that includes the words that have similar meanings or have the same sense of meaning. And we find that there are some more bits of information on the two types of reference tools, because dictionaries, thesauri, which is the plural form of thesaurus, and encyclopedias, glossaries, and all these are called reference tools, which are representing the core of lexicographic word or work. And here, the main difference here is I want to show you that order in a dictionary lists words alphabetically, a thesaurus may list words alphabetically or conceptually. Of course, there is, and the number of words could vary from one to another, and the history of the two tools also is similar. But I think that the first modern English thesaurus created by Peter Mark in 1852. طبعا the dictionary that it has a very old history dating back to centuries before BC. Okay. Let's move on to another kind of, this is the update or the latest form of thesaurus, visual thesaurus, where you find that material is based or is given to you visually, and in order to captivate you and give you the utmost stimulating presentation of data. And there are other things for here. Let's say, for example, find the right word and explore. You can find any word. You can deepen your understanding of words and meaning. Use a thesaurus also. You can analyze the vocabulary in any text. You can build customized word lists on any theme. And also you can read about language and language teaching on the Visual Thesaurus website. This is very important for teachers, because it gives them instruction tips on lexical aspect of language and lexical knowledge. And also you can play our spelling bee. I think that this is the latest of this latest format of thesaurus. Something called visual thesaurus, and you find that lexicographic work is developing day after day, and there are breathtaking progress in the field thanks to the digital age in which we live and the unlimited chances of getting amazing lexicographic work. Multimodal lexicography now. The traditionally paper dictionaries have explained words with words using either definition or an equivalent, and occasionally accompanied by a pictorial illustration. But now electronic dictionaries are multimodal in the sense that they present meaning in different ways, such as audio, animation, video, images, pictures, and so on and so forth. All these things stimulate our senses and present data in the best, interesting, and captivating way, which is very convenient to users and also interesting. And now let's end our discussion with technical problems that come up in the preparation of a dictionary. For example, the definition of the volume of the semantic structure of words, semantic component of meaning, distinction between meaning which are closely connected, distinction between meaning and extralinguistic correlation, and all this no work is problem free. Before I end my discussion, I just want to show you this. This is a journal of lexicography. This is a specialized journal used to publish papers in the field. And this is definition or a small introduction to what this journal about. For example, it's concerned with all aspects of lexicography, including issues of design. This is a very important thing: design, compilation, use, and with all dictionaries of all languages through the use of though the chief focus is on dictionaries of major European languages. And these are the yes, talking about also, yes, monolingual and bilingual, synchronic and chronic dictionaries, pedagogical and encyclopedia. The journal recognizes the vital role of lexicographical theory of research. This is very important because lexicography is not just something that's applied and has to do with design, formatting, compiling of words and organizing words and entries and presentation of data and all these things. No, there must be some theoretical work or framework to govern the field and to usher new directions in the field, and how it is related to computational linguistics and other disciplines. And the journal also welcomes contributions in these fields, and this is part of what the impact factor and some of the latest papers published in this very interesting journal. Okay, that's all for today, and thank you.